Hey everybody, what's up? So I got a new job in for this week. I say this week, shouldn't take me more than a couple days. Shouldn't even take that long, but I might be a little lazy nowadays. Getting old, I guess. So this is a buddy of mine. Got a 95, 94 Cobra. I don't remember which year. Been setting up for a little while. Car doesn't get driven that much. It's actually, he's owned it since 99, and it's been through a few changes. The car was down for many years. I think like 10 years with no motor, no transmission, no rear end. He bought an engine setup, put in it, and it's still got stock headers on it. Got the stock Cobra intake and throttle body. We're looking to possibly upgrade that later. It's supposed to have a 347. We don't know for sure. That's, of course, you know, you buy an engine from somebody. If it's a Chevrolet, oh, it's a 383. If it's a small block, 302 base, it's a 347. That's what he was told. That's what we're going off of. But anyway, it's got some World Product heads on it. Not sure what cam. 5-speed car. Factory intake, factory injectors, factory mass air. So looking to probably upgrade that later. Right now we're going to eliminate the stock header issue. We have a set of Mac long tubes and an H-pipe. And then also, it's got some bad bushings in the control arms. So we have some new adjustable control arms for it. We're going to get those installed and then see what else he wants to do to the car. We'll get started putting these headers on, and actually, we'll crank this thing up. Let y'all hear it the way it is now. Come on, baby. There we go. The H-pipe at the cat back is not all the way on, so sure what that knocking noise is. I don't think it's the engine. I think it's it's something from the engine, but I don't think it's internal. She definitely needs tuned. I miss that sound though. Alright, let's get to work. So that didn't actually take very long at all. Bolts weren't very tight in the headers. So, headers are out of the way. One thing I hate about some of these Mac headers, steering arms got to come out. And given the size of the lip on this bell housing here, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Motor might have to be loosened up and jacked up. So naturally, the side that I thought wouldn't give me any troubles did, and the side that I thought would Didn't. Passenger side, slipped right up in there. No problem. Usually have an issue with the bell housing right here and the floor pan. This side was kind of a pain. And then we also have, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Got to figure out how to zoom with this camera. Right here, the steering shaft is touching the header. And it was touching the bell housing right there. So I took a Sawzall and trimmed it. The only reason I was worried about that was this is the number 4 tube, and at the head it had the port pulled out at the bottom, had the flange pulled out at the bottom, so there's a potential exhaust leak there. So it's close here. Probably wouldn't hurt to wrap this clutch cable. But driver's side is on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the rack up and move it forward, which will extend that shaft out and get it off of that header. Might be a little easier to see there. Anyway, I'm going to scoot the rack forward, you know, 1/4 of an inch ain't going to hurt nothing. So passenger side went right in, no problem. Always something. So just finished up with the header install. Old H-pipe. I think this H-pipe is from a Fox body going off of the hangers that this one has. These cars are fairly close in length and all that. This one here, this is the factory flow tubes back to the mufflers, and so this one here was about 1 inch too short, and this one was about 2 inches too short. Had the mufflers pulled up into the control arm pockets and all that, so got all that straightened out. I just put a little extension in there, so would make this nicer, but with these factory flow tubes, I mean, it needs to be upgraded to 2.5 eventually anyway, so wasn't too worried about it. I did have to order some new O2 sensors. The ones that were in the H-pipe are pretty much welded in there, so those ain't gonna work. Those will be in here in a little bit. I'm going to have to go back to the parts store and get them. Now we're going to move to this crusty stuff. These aren't really doing much anymore. So I'm going to pull these control arms off. Probably hang on to them. Give them back to my buddy if he wants them. If not, I'll hang on to them. We'll look at doing some new bushings or better bushing, maybe a Heim joint, I don't know. But this is something that might work on the Lincoln if he doesn't want to keep them. So I can modify these for my car and not have to spend a whole bunch of money. Yeah, look at that bushing. Crusty! So let's get to tearing apart this rear suspension. Then after that, I think I'm pretty much done with this one for this round anyway. Well, I got her all finished up. Got it cranked up and letting it sit here and run for a minute. We'll drive it down the road and see how it acts as far as drivability and that kind of thing. Figured out what the knocking noise was. Tensioner down there is weak, so it's banging around. You know, these definitely aren't the fastest thing in the world, but it's hard to beat a 302 with a nice sounding camshaft. Music to my ears. I don't care how fast it is. There's always going to be somebody faster, so why not just at least sound good? So the steering arm was hitting the header. I think I showed y'all that. So my plan was to scoot the rack forward a little bit. I put a couple of washers behind the actual bushings. I don't know why this thing won't. And then I actually put a spacer in behind the metal sleeve. Got it away from it a little bit, but not quite enough. So I had to come over here and shim up the right side motor mount to get it off of it. Maybe an aftermarket steering arm or steering shaft will work, but for right now, I mean, everything clears, so not really that worried about it. We did get the control arms and all installed. Single adjustable lowers and double adjustable uppers, and we put the solid bushings in with the metal sleeve and rolled the pinion angle down just a little bit. Now we're going to go out and drive it and probably call it a wrap on this project. He's got some other stuff that he's wanting to do, but he's probably going to go ahead and pick it up, set it in the shop, and figure out what our next step is, and then go from there. So thanks for following along, and see you on the next